one second. I have never heard of these books. They were sent to me. George R.R. Martin says, fantasy as it ought to be written. It's pretty high praise. I feel like I'm gonna like these because I just, a couple months ago, read The Assassin's Blade by Sarah J. Maas. I did not continue on to read Throne of Glass or Ektar, but those are also on my list because my sister wants me to read them. But I enjoyed The Assassin's Blade, and this is called The Assassin's Apprentice, and it's also fantasy, so I feel as though they could have a similar vibe. The Farseer trilogy is what it's called. Anyways, thank you, Frank. So I started reading this, and one of the first things I noticed has nothing to do with the content of the book. It's the size of the book. It's little. It's like, I'm like hold it in my hand and just read it without, and I'm getting tired. One of my good friends and I were just lamenting the fact that really big clunker novels are hard to read in bed because you're laying there and it's like, oh, my arms are so tired. You can't. At night, I'll read from my Kindle because it's little. I can fit it one hand. Plus it has the light. So if I have a child sleeping next to me, I can read and not disturb her. It's so funny, especially I just finished it, but like there's another Stephen King novel that I just started, and I think this is even one of the smaller copies. Like it's itty bitty print so that it's like more compact. But even this, it's like holding a brick. And this little guy, just a baby. But about the actual book, I just started the first one in the Farseer trilogy, The Assassin's Apprentice. But I like it so far. I like the writing style. I can see where it's going, and I think I'm gonna like it. So I'm gonna go back to reading. Everything makes me cry. Good morning. I finished it last night. I really liked it. It was really good. I cried at the end because I always cry at everything. Just who I am as a person. Something you're gonna notice is that I always draw connections between anything in my life. So it was written in first person as he is old and recounting his experience. Sorry. This feels really good. Okay, so it kind of reminded me of Bilbo Baggins writing his adventure. So it reminded me of, you know, The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, similarly, because it's, see how small it is, that Robin Hobb can be very concise and yet tell a very thorough story. And I really enjoyed that, especially if you compare it to Stephen King's The Dark Tower series, where every book is like, 10,000 pages long. Or Game of Thrones, George R.R. Martin. Again, 7 colossal sized books. And yes, those are also very well done, very well written. But like Tolkien, she tells a more concise tale. You still fall in love with the characters and are invested in the relationships and understand the connections. Overall, I really enjoyed it. And so this one is next. And I'm excited to see what comes of the boy and the king and everybody. Goodbye. Okay, so I didn't update when I finished book 2 of the Farseer trilogy. It was really good. It was really well done. I'm already like halfway through the 3rd one. Robin Hobb, I'm a fan. I dig it. Like George R.R. Martin and Tolkien. It's good. So I'm excited to finish this one. And then I will report back with actual thoughts and feelings and things about the trilogy. Okay, I was pleasantly surprised. Not that I wasn't expecting to enjoy them. I just hadn't ever heard of them, and which is funny. And I don't know if it's like the red car theory. You get a red car and then you see red cars everywhere. But I started seeing these all over. Well, not these, but Robin Hobb all over my Instagram algorithm. So my thoughts. My camera died and I don't feel like dealing with it. So I'm just gonna finish recording this on my phone. The Farseer trilogy. I really enjoyed it. I really like Robin Hobb's writing style. It's interesting, excuse me, that she has, a quote from George R.R. Martin, the covers of all of her books, because it's very similar. I love that she builds a world very succinctly. Sorry. She builds a world. She's very succinct about it. It's not overly smutty. Like, you care about the characters and you understand that there's, coupling going on, but it's not the root of the story. It just builds a connection. So something I think is funny is that I will 100% judge a book by its cover. And if these hadn't been gifted to me, I never would have picked them up from walking around the store. These covers are terrible. And honestly, even the titles are terrible, because yes, he is an assassin, but like it's so small a detail of his character. There's hardly any actual assassinating going on. Like, it's wild. There's like one failed attempt, and then basically just, poisoning forged ones. And it's interesting because I feel most of the focus of the story and of his character and his character development relates to his using the skill and that very subtle magic and the growth of that, and herb lore. And so it's like he's this little wizard. He's like a little wizard apprentice. And so it's kind of misleading. It's kind of misleading because yes, there are moments of, war and glory, because there's always going to be in fantasy novels like this. But the main focus is definitely not on his ability to be a hired assassin. Like, I don't know. I mean, whatever. It is what it is. But I find it interesting. And I can't read you the quote because it was on my phone and I'm recording on my phone. But after this, I was going to start reading where it branches off with The Fool, which I think is called the Tawny Man, or I don't know. But it was recommended to me from somebody on Instagram that I read the Live Ship Traders trilogy next, and then the Tawny Man. If you have any input, I would love to hear it. Anyways, back to this trilogy. I kind of flew through these. They were very engaging and very easy to just pour through. Very smoothly written. And the story is one... Sorry. The cat allergies have me all scratchy. It's sort of similar to Harry Potter, or, you know, Clan of the Cave Bears, or really any series. If you read them in rapid succession, I sort of forget where one book ends and the next begins. This one's interesting because I feel like there's a death of some sort, even if it's just like a mystical death or a fake death or a death that's not a death. At the end of each of these books, that is like the ending of the book. I cried for all of them. It was really good. And I really enjoyed them, and it's interesting because, like I said, I would not have picked these up based on the cover, based on the title, not even based on like the synopsis. I mean, I guess it does mention the skill and whatever, but the pieces of this that I find the most interesting, other than the relationship building between the characters. Hi, Edgar. Is it Edgar? It's a booty booty. It's a booty booty. So what I enjoy, other than the relationship building between the characters, is the wit. So I don't know if there is a whole offshoot where he explores more of that with the guy with the bear. I don't remember his name. It's almost like fantasy Animorphs. Do you remember Animorphs? Oh my god, I loved those books. Like, I don't know what I would even title the books other than that. I feel like every book in Fantasyland lately is like Assassins this and Quest that and House of this, and you know, you don't even know what books are what anymore because they all have the same fucking title. But I really enjoy the aspects of, you know, the skill magic and the coterie and the animal wit magic. The old blood, that's what they called it. So I will be continuing with this. Currently reading a bunch of other books that I have to finish. And I think I'm honestly, so these were gifted to me, but I don't think I'm going to buy the paperback of the next books. So this one, yeah, this, I don't know Robin Hobb has any control over this, but like pages were literally falling out of this, and I wasn't particularly rough with it. They just like popped right out of the binding. So I'm not gonna waste my money on that. If I find them somewhere, you know, used for a couple dollars, or at the thrift store for like 10 cents, that's different. But I'll probably just get the digital copy from the library to continue reading them, because yeah. But I really enjoyed them a lot more than I thought I would. I think Robin Hobb did a really good job, and I think she is probably one of my new favorite authors. So thank you, Frank, for sending me those books. I think after I finish these ones, the next fantasy author, that it's another red car. One of my clients recommended him, and then someone else recommended him, and then one of the people I follow on Instagram started talking about him, and he's also, I think he found me, or we found each other. I found him on Instagram because he reads a lot of Stephen King, and I was like, oh cool, I love Stephen King people. And it's interesting because now I'm becoming a little bit disenchanted with Stephen King after what he did in It. But Brandon Sanderson, I keep wanting to say Brian Sanderson, and I don't know who Brian Sanderson is, but Brandon Sanderson is the next author that I want to explore for the fantasy world. and I feel like that's a whole new realm. I'm also going to read Sarah J. Maas because my sister really wants me to read her, and like so many other people have been telling me that I need to read her. And I have a feeling it's gonna be really quick to like just breeze through her books as well. And my sister gave me the digital copies. So anyway, back to these books. Really well written, really good story. Felt very original overall. Really, really good. I give them like 4 out of 5 stars, which is pretty much perfect because you only get 5 stars from me if you like change my life. Okay, bye. It's gonna pet my face with this book.